People's workers' comp, where every claim can be real tough. He says he doesn't need the money, but he'll never really make enough. Now Peter here, well, he's our boss, manager of claims like no other. He was bred for claims and born to argue. He has no father and has no mother. Welcome to our fun claims unit.
Well, welcome back. Here we are at the Great Pyramids. Yeah, yes, we go all over the world to deliver this training for you, so you should know that. Actually here in our studios in New Orleans, but we're going to pretend we're at the Great Pyramids. It's a more interesting background, believe me. All right, my name is Carl Van, and I'm going to be talking about the great negotiators versus everybody else. Before I do that, we have some business from last week to conduct. Our prize was a travel chess set by our sponsors from Latitude, and the question had to do with chess. And the question was, in the game of chess, which side can win in 2 moves? White, black, or neither? And the answer actually is black. It's called Fool's Mate, and only black can win in 2 moves. White moves first in chess, but it takes 3 moves because of that. So there you go. The first 3 people who got that right are going to get a travel chess set, and here they are in this order, number 1, number 2, and number 3. Congratulations to our winners. All right, well, let's get into this week. We're going to talk about great negotiators versus everybody else. In putting together the program, Negotiation Skills for the Claims Professional, I had the opportunity to monitor and interview some extraordinary claims negotiators. And I do mean the best in the industry. And what was so interesting about these people is how consistent they were in their philosophy about things that you should do or shouldn't do, and what works to change people's minds, and words you shouldn't use, and all the things we're going to be talking about in our future programs. But one thing I did ask is, what makes you a great negotiator? What's the dividing line between you and everybody else? And I had the opportunity to interview maybe 30, 35 men and women. And what was so amazing was how consistent their answer was.
Great. You're great.
Okay, about what makes someone great. Okay, so I want you to think about this. A great negotiator is someone who blank.
You're great.
You're great.
What would you say? Usually when I teach this class, people say, listen. Well, good negotiators listen, but it's not the dividing line the great negotiators would say. Well, someone who does a win-win. Well, good negotiators try to do a win-win. Someone who knows their claim. Well, good negotiators know their claim. But it's not the dividing line of what great negotiators would say. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give you the answer. Here's what they say. It's an odd answer, but at least it's consistent. They were so consistent about this. A great negotiator is someone who has a process. Someone who has a process. And here's what they mean by that. Anything you do over and over again the same way, you get good at. That's why we practice things. You get good at things if you do them the exact same way. And a lot of us in claims, we do our negotiations, but we haven't really been taught a process. And so we kind of just, our process is, here's our figure. Do you agree? If not, why? And then we kind of go into it. But the great negotiators say, well, if you always take things exactly the same way, you're always going to get better than if you just wing it every time. So right now, if I were to ask you, well, there's 5 steps in the negotiation process. What's step number 2? Would you know it? What's step number 4? What's step number 1? See, a lot of us, me included, and I plead guilty because I was a claims adjuster for a long time, just kind of our process is, here's our figure and hope for the best. But the great negotiators don't see it that way. They see negotiation as a process, and they always take it exactly the same way every time. And because of that, they become very, very good at what they do. So what is that process? Well, that's coming up in later programs, but we've got to lay the groundwork. All right, another question. The negotiation process begins when? Well, if I have a group of brand new claims people, never settle a claim, and I say, when does the negotiation process begin? They always say, when I make an offer. Now, if you have any experience at all and you're watching this, you know that's not true. When does the negotiation process for us begin? We know it begins at the very first conversation, right? By the time you tell someone we're going to pay you $62,000, all of your opportunity to gain their trust, for them to believe that what you're about to say is true, is over. You can't gain someone's trust while you're negotiating with them. So for us, we have to pay attention. We have to pay attention to how we treat people throughout the claims process, because it's going to affect whether or not they see us as credible when it's time to negotiate the settlement. And most of us know that already who have any experience. The last question for you today is, why do we practice? I'm going to suggest throughout these programs that you take the time to practice. Take the time to practice. Even though it might make sense to you, still practice with someone. Why? Well, there's an old saying, and here's an old saying: as you practice, so shall you do. As you practice, so shall you do. So the great negotiators will tell you, just practice it, okay? Practice, I don't know if it makes perfect, but it certainly helps you improve. And they'll always encourage you to practice new skills when you're learning them. But I have a warning for you, and here's my warning. Okay, lots of times through these programs, I'm going to show you little clips, TV clips, movies, whatever, even commercials. And you'll always know that there's a clip coming up when you see this cow. Now, I'm not a Chick-fil-A fan. I don't know, I just thought it was funny. You know, like a cow going, hey, what's going on in there? Anyway, so when you see this cow, you know I'm going to play a clip, and I'm going to make my point with this. Okay, be careful not to practice with everything going your way. Because if all you ever do is practice where everything goes your way, then that's all you're going to be ready for. So believe it or not, you have to practice with people being difficult, with people not agreeing with you, with people debating you. You're going to have to practice where things don't always go perfect. Here's a good example of this. This is a movie called Defending Your Life. I'll frame it for you so it makes sense. In the beginning of this movie, both of these characters have died. So they're both dead through the whole movie. They're on trial in the afterlife. Okay? They got a prosecuting attorney, they got a defense attorney, and they got judges. And if they can prove that they've conquered their fears, they move on to the next life. If not, they get sent back. So the scene we're going to watch is this gentleman in trial. The prosecuting attorney is going to show a scene from his life. A scene where he does the right thing. He practices his negotiation skills. That's the right thing he does. The wrong thing he does is he practices with everything going his way. Okay? And we call this clip, Let Me Make It Plain. All right? Enjoy.
Arrest.
Mr. Stanley, you're up.
No counter at this time, Your Honor.
Wait a second. You're not going to show something in my favor?
Not at this juncture, no. I think we do better to move on.
Shall we move on, Mr. Miller?
Sure, let's move on.
Your Honors, I would like to go to 2945. This is the evening before Mr. Miller took the job in advertising he was to hold until his passing. He asked his wife to help him by playing a little game. Do you remember, Mr. Miller? You asked her to act the boss so you could sharpen your tools in order to get what you wanted.
Do this for me, it helps.
Not now, I'm eating.
Come on, do it.
What do you want me to do?
Be him.
This is silly.
It's not silly, it helps me. Offer me $55,000, no more.
How much do you want?
How much are you offering me?
$55,000.
I can't work here for a penny under 65, I'm sorry.
Well, I can't pay you 65.
Then I can't work here.
58,000.
65.
59.
65.
60.
65.
61.
Let me make it plain. I cannot take the job for under 65, under no conditions.
Your Honors, I would like to go directly to the next afternoon and show you the real encounter.
Daniel, I'm prepared to offer you $49,000.
I'll take it.
Okay, so you saw him practice. He definitely practiced. But he only practiced with going his way, and that's a mistake we're not going to make in future programs, okay? All right, well, as always, my phone number, my email address, call me, email me anytime. I'll always answer your questions. I'll go over any information you'd like, and I'll even role play and practice with you if you want. All right, on to the fun stuff. This week's trivia question, gaining cooperation, how to get people to do what you want them to do. Free book. Again, today's prize sponsored by our friends at Latitude, so thank you, of course, to them. The first 3 people who send me an email with the right, don't call me, by the way. Someone tried calling me. No, it's got to be an email, because that way I can tell what order it is. So the first 3 people who send me an email with the right answer, you're going to get the Gaining Cooperation book. Completely free. All right? Free shipping and everything. You don't have to pay a thing. Okay? All right, our category is standing tall. Here's your question. The tallest statue of Jesus Christ in the world is in where? Sweet Bolton, Poland, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, Rome, Italy. Email me your answer. The first 3 people are going to win the book. Now, you might be asking, well, Carl, people are just going to look up these answers. Yes, they might, but by the time they look it up and send me the email, 3 people might have already guessed and probably won. So my suggestion is just take your best guess and send me an email and worry about looking it up later. Okay. All right. That's it, everybody. Had some fun today, so hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Take care.
Welcome to our fun claims unit. We make new friends every day. We are always smiling and happy. Where our work just seems like play. Welcome to our fun claims unit. We make new friends every day. We are always smiling and happy. Where our work just seems like play. Welcome to our unit.